Okay, welcome. My name is Matt Urbanski. I'm with Team RunRun, and I've got Team RunRun coach Keith Laverty here with me. And today we're going to be talking about the Saturnalia 10k, which is a 10k race that takes place in December every year in Olympia, Washington, at Squaxin Park. Our goal with this video today is to help people who are doing this race be as prepared as possible. The reason we have Keith here on the call is because Keith ran the race this year in 2023, and not only did he run it, but he won it, and he set the course record. He's also a longtime coach, so he's got really good insight into how to analyze a course and to have people ready for a race. So with that, I'll just say welcome, Keith, and let's just get right down to business. We're going to talk about two main topics. We're going to focus first on just knowledge about the course, and then as we finish that, we can talk a little bit about any sort of race logistics and just kind of like the vibe of the race and share that with people as well. But let's really dig into the course and help people be prepared for every kind of twist and turn and important thing that they should be mentally and physically prepared for when they start the Saturnalia 10k race next December. All right. So the place I think we should start is at 700 feet of vert in what looked like a little under 10k distance total.
Right.
That's a lot of, I mean, when you're used to running mountain races, it maybe doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're running hard for 10 kilometers, 700 feet is a lot of vert. And it looked like there was one good hill in the first mile, and then there were a number of punchy hills in the last 2.5 miles. So could you just talk about the vert in this race? I think that's probably one of the most important course features that we should talk about.
Yeah, I would say I think it's kind of like a sneaky vert course too, with like a sneaky 700 feet. I think most of it is in that latter half, the second half, with a bunch of, I think there's probably 7 to 8 climbs. So none of them are super long, but they're punchy, and a couple of those are on stair climbs as well. So I think that's what makes this course just going to be difficult too, is that the first half is pretty runnable, a little faster and wider trail. 1 or 2 climbs, and then second half is where things can get pretty challenging. So yeah, sneaky vert.
Nice. Tell me about the stairs. Are there, in both, two parts of this question? There are uphill stairs. I could tell because some of the vert, when I look at the Strava file, they're like 30% plus grade. Like those are probably stairs, I would guess. What about the downhills? Also, so those uphill stairs, I want to hear your opinion on them. And were there any downhill stairs? And how was that navigating on a December course in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it too. I think we did luck out this year. It was like dry and probably in the mid 30s. But I wouldn't be surprised in future years if it's muddy or icy. I think some of those downhills, like downhill stairs and uphill, could get a little dicey. So being careful on your footing and your balance, and maybe practicing some of that technical terrain to your training. But yeah, I think the stairs were definitely a good huff in that second half. Like you mentioned, it's only a 10k, 700 feet of vert, but it's like that kind of that you're basically running at or near like threshold the whole way. So I was, at least for me, I was just kind of racing hard from start to finish. So those climbs in the second half, those stairs were I was just trying to take it one staircase at a time, and and some of them are kind of like longer steps too. So it's kind of like a little hard to get into a rhythm. So it's like, should you take 1-2 steps per platform, or just take one and then try to hop to the next stair. But I think sometimes for me, I kind of maybe increase my cadence a little bit and try to focus on engaging the glutes and like having that more of a powerful stride up the staircase.
Awesome.
And
so,
then
so people just need to be ready for these stairs. Like it's a fact of the course, and you're already going to be running hard, but this is going to be one of those things you just got to be ready for and be ready to power through.
Yeah, I would say so. And like you mentioned too, like the downstairs is, I think for me, it's actually a little more challenging than going up the stairs. And part of it too is I'm pretty tall, so it's like a little bit less lower to the ground. But so yeah, like practicing your footwork and yeah, practicing those downhills, that quick movement, changing up your stride rate and increasing your cadence, which is kind of I felt like it was kind of a tale of two different courses. Like I felt like the first half was very wide runnable. You can open up your stride and it's not too technical. Whereas the second half was yeah, like all the hills, a little more techy.
Okay, good. The very important stuff for people to know about when they go do this course, especially if they're trying to be competitive or like run for a time or like really push themselves. It's good to know what they've got all that in store for them. Another thing when I looked at the Strava file and at the course is it looks like there are just a lot of twists and turns. Like it looks like you pack the 10K into, I've not been to Squaxin Park, but like it's a big park, it looks like, but they fit a lot into the park to fit in this 10K course. So how was it with twists and turns? Was there any pros and cons when you think about racing with all of that? And along with that question, when there appear to be a lot of twists and turns, how was it to stay on course? Like, was it well marked? Did you ever go off course? So tell us about the twist turns and staying on course.
Yeah. I think maybe a pro, this is my opinion at least. I mean, I think it kind of keeps things fun too. Like, kind of feels like you're just kind of playing in the forest and almost or kind of dancing through the forest. I think that's for me kind of a fun element. Like, it kind of helps you keep focused on the task at hand. So yeah, I think if you're maybe a con, I was thinking that maybe if you're somebody who's like more of a rhythm runner, that could be a challenge too. Because just a lot of sharp turns. There's roots on those short sections and turns. A few hikers out there and dogs. So it's something else just to be aware of, and just making sure you're giving them a heads up that you're coming through. But and then what was the second half of your second part of your question?
On course.
Yeah.
Were there any challenges with that, given all the turns?
Yeah, none for me. But I will say it could be easy to, I guess, it's good to pay attention, try to stay alert. I did have one competitor who's, he's leading through the first half of the race, and he actually started to take a wrong turn. We're going through like a parking lot, and I happened to see like a yellow sign a little bit further, but somewhat easy to miss, and so you start to go right, and so he probably lost about probably a good 10 seconds there.
Yeah. And then, that happens in trail races. It's not abnormal, especially when you're going that fast and you're not totally sure where you're going. But it sounds like it was a well-marked course, and you just have to, when you're making turns, you've got to be paying attention, especially if you're up in the front of the race like you were.
Yeah.
You didn't have a bunch of people to be following. So.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And there was I will say there was also kind of like one kind of main paved parking lot, and I kind of went through that lot, I think 3 or 4 times, like all from different directions. So that could be an area of confusion, but there is a course marshal there, just making sure to keep us on track. So that could be an area of, potential confusion there.
Nice. And to summarize about the twists and turns, I can understand and visualize what you're saying about if you're a rhythm runner, because like if you're having to slow down for turns or routes, or if it's a muddy Pacific Northwest day, you're going to slip when you're turning. But then as soon as you make that turn, you got to just turn on the jets again and go. So it's a lot of stop and go. You got to be kind of ready for that sort of a race, I would imagine. So it's good to know that it's going into the race.
Yeah, and almost like you can almost think of maybe like a fartlek workout, kind of changing your speed quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then changing directions and challenging your balance and stability.
Nice. That sounds like a good challenge. What about shoes? What would you recommend people wear for shoes for this race?
I'd probably say something that's, again, in my opinion, but like something that's probably a little relatively lighter weight, a light trail shoe. So I wore the Hoka Tecton X. So it's kind of it's a carbon plated shoe, but I'd say it's more on the the lighter end of things, but still enough cushion in that shoe. So something that's a little more nimble, I would say.
And that's more of a performance shoe. The tread on it is not nearly as aggressive. If it was more of a muddy
Right.
day, do you think you would make the same choice?
Ooh, yeah, if it was a muddier day, if it was like, yeah, we had downpours all week, and then watch out for puddles and mud. Like, yeah, maybe I'd try look for a shoe that has a little more that outsole that more like more aggressive, like bigger like lugs and something that can drain well.
I run in the Tecton as well on my fast races, so I know that shoe well. But then when I'm running any technical courses or muddy courses, that's not the one I usually want. That's why I asked. I might go with like the Hoka Mafate or something
Yeah,
a little
that's
more
true. Yeah,
aggressive. If it was a sloppy day, but yeah, sounds like it'd
yeah,
be the
yeah,
same for
exactly.
you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I mean, the Tecton X was, I mean, yeah, that shoe in particular, I feel like have a slightly wider, has a slightly wider base. So yeah, I mean, something where you feel stable enough too.
Yeah. Cool. From your perspective, now to kind of summarize some of the course talk, if there were one or two points on the course where someone should be mentally ready, like this is coming, X is coming at this mile mark, roughly. Be ready for it. So it doesn't, like you're prepared for it physically, and more importantly, you're prepared mentally. What would that point or 2 points on the course be that you tip people off if you wanted them to have a good day?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking at my Strava profile right now on the analytical feature here. So yeah, I think pretty much precisely at like mile 3.2, so basically about halfway through. That's when you start really into like the nitty gritty of the ups and downs, the punchy climbs, a little more twisty and turny. So yeah, if I were coaching an athlete, like I'd be like preparing for someone for this race, I'd be like my number one, like from a mental and psychological standpoint, like just something to be aware of like and not to be surprised by the second half of that course there. I will say too, there is a little bit of I didn't mention this yet, but there's a little bit of pavement too. So you run on the road, on the sidewalks, kind of toward the beginning, and then kind of a good section between mile 2.2 to 2.7. There's like a half mile of kind of road, faster running in there too.
Yeah, I'm scrolling over your Strava file. You were running near 5-minute miles at that point. So it was clearly not stairs at that time. You were able to kind of let it loose a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very gradual incline on the sidewalk.
Okay.
And then yeah, as always too, like don't forget about the last climb of the race, which is here like 5.3. I had 7 miles, 5.6
Yes,
on my
your Strava
distance.
read the
So
course a little bit short. It read it at 5.66 miles, I
yep.
think. So who knows if it's actually 10K, but be prepared. There's a
Yeah.
big climb right before the finish.
Yeah, it's the same one you go down at the very beginning. So yeah, just like it doesn't seem like much when you're going down it, and it's early in the race, and like it seems like not. Yeah, I know it doesn't seem like much at the beginning, and then you come to the end, and like, oh, it's actually like you're definitely feeling that hill after you've been working hard. So
I can imagine. I can imagine. This is good. And if someone's preparing for this race, if there were any sort of coaching tips that you might give so that someone, say in the 3 weeks before the race, they wanted to do something a little bit race specific just to be ready for the course, what would be a couple of pointers that you might give them for race specific preparation?
yeah, I think I think in at least a few easy runs, or maybe even like during the long run, I'd certainly work in or try to find a trail network that has some stairs or kind of short, like punchy short climbs. Like another spot I can think of just off the top of my head is like St. Edward State Park, kind of near Bothell, Kenmore area. Like it's a good spot kind of similar terrain. But yeah, I think just practicing some of that technical footwork, and then the stairs and some of those easy in-law runs. As far as workouts, I might suggest just as like a again like a simulation or specificity workout, maybe something like tempo, like a combo workout, like a tempo plus some hill repeats. I feel like that because again I feel like that first half felt like a 3 mile, faster tempo effort, and then the second half being more of those hills. So yeah, so maybe like 3-4 mile tempo, 45-minute recovery, and then go straight into like 4 to 6 by like 60-second hills.
Okay. Nice. That's great advice. I really like that. Okay. So people are ready for the course now. They know what's coming. They have some tips on how to train for it. Just a few other questions, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. You and I both know Matthias. He's the race director, Rock Candy Racing. How do you describe the vibe? I've not raced one of his races yet, but what was the vibe like there? And just tell us a little about like kind of the scene. What's it like at Squaxin Park? Just a little bit of the give us a little taste for what we might expect if we go to this race.
Sure. Yeah, it's good. Good end of the year event. Logistically, it's I think very simple and straightforward. As a convenient 9 a.m. start, which is nice because it's like the darkest day of the year around winter solstice. So I always appreciate, not having to get up at 5 a.m. During the winter time. And then it finishes at Reeves Middle School. There's plenty of parking, and it starts right next to the middle school. This year, he's able to get access to the gym, so it was right next to the start and finish. That was really nice. They had all the warm beverages and cocoa, hot cider, and all the swag and stuff inside the gym. So again, if it was like a snowy year, might be a nice perk to have there. Just a very welcoming, kind of a smaller community feel to it, like just a more of a grassroots a vibe to it. And then another thing too, like even there's there was placing, like I got first place, but there was no like awards for the top 3. Like everybody got the same award. So I got a handcrafted ornament, I think that his wife made.
Oh, cool.
And then everybody gets a swag item that's like the number, and then correlates to like a variety of different things you can get from the table.
I read that in your race report, and we'll link your race report in the notes of this YouTube video. But I was like, what does that exactly mean? So that's a cool way to do some of the swag. It's like not a white elephant, but it's a bit of a surprise, which is kind of fun. I like that.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
So that's a really fun end of the year event, and I think you can use it either to cap the year off, with a speedier, faster effort, or just maybe include it into like a new training block if you're maybe building up towards like a like a winter 50k or longer event, and earlier in the year. So
awesome, very cool. Well, I think that we've given people plenty of good ideas about the course and about the race. Do you have any other tips or things you want to say about the race before we wrap up?
I would say go check out Rock Candy Running, and Matthias. I'll try to pronounce it, but he also does a great job of just with the pre-race emails and the website, all is very well dialed in too. So I appreciate that.
He's a fun guy. I saw a picture on Instagram of him up on a table with a bullhorn. He was just in the moment, having a good time out there with everyone. So it looked like a great event. Thanks for doing this. I encourage other people to check out the event. And I can also say, if you like these kind of talks, subscribe to the Team RunRun channel on YouTube. We're going to be doing more race briefings like this. We also have coaches and a doctor on the team who are doing other videos on injury prevention, strength training, all sorts of different running topics. So check those out. And check out Rock Candy Racing. They put on some great events, and we support them, and we would love to see you go run these races next year. So with that, I'll say Keith, thank you. Oh, and lastly, check out Coach Keith Laverty. He's an awesome coach in the Seattle area, Bainbridge Island, but he can coach you from anywhere. Highly encourage you to check out Keith as well. I'll have a link to his coaching page in the notes as well. So with that, thank you very much, and we'll see you again
Well, I
soon.
appreciate it. Thank you.